So welcome everybody. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining and thank you for patiently waiting. And we will begin immediately. We'll start with the prayers. And let me show the slides. Yes, welcome to Gita Gyan. Just confirm if the recording has started. Yeah, the content is being sent to YouTube.
Bye.
Yes, it's perfect. जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, निताय चैतन्य की जय, परशुराम भगवान की जय, वामन देव की जय, गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। This session is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We're inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, GBC Spiritual Master. And we were doing chapter number 18, and we did a lot of concepts here, like difference between sannyasa and tyaga, 5 causes of action. And we saw knowledge in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. We saw karma or actor in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. We saw work in goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay. So today we're going to talk about happiness in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we'll also discuss about the Varnashram Dharma system, which Krishna has created. And then we will discuss on that. And then we'll continue with whatever we can cover today. Okay. So let's start. This is happiness in 3 modes of material nature. So when I say happiness, what is it that comes to our mind? Right? Just think of what makes you happy. What is it that makes us happy? And what are the kind of happinesses that we enjoy? Right? Generally, normally. It may be like, yeah, maybe you can put it in the chat. What is your favorite happiness? Type in the chat. Let us see. What makes you happy? I mean, of course, apart from Krishna conscious activities. I'm asking like a very general, just like a normal man, like a simple person, just like a common man. Just think like a small kid. What makes you happy? That's it. Type in the chat. When you do what, you become happy. Spending time with near and dear ones, winning a game makes you happy. And then what else? Going on a long drive makes us happy. That's right. Okay, that's nice. Playing with friends makes us happy, right? So these are all different examples of happiness, right? So today we will see completely a different perspective that, oh, this is something I've never heard about, right? So this is Bhagavad Gita. This is spoken by Krishna. And Krishna, many people do not know, he is the absolute truth. That is like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the God himself has actually descended and done a pastimes just very nearby 5,000 years ago, and in our own country. We should be very, very proud about it and happy about it. And he has delivered the supreme knowledge, which is matchless. There's no knowledge, there's no textbook which matches Bhagavad Gita. Just look at the depth at which Krishna is going to divide these modes of happiness. We have so many textbooks in the world, religious textbooks, philosophical textbooks, so many different types of isms, but nobody can get this better than Krishna. We're talking about happiness, the most fundamental emotion for human beings. So this single emotion is the reason why we are doing everything, isn't it? We want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. But what is the nature of happiness? Nobody can define this. Let's see what Krishna is saying. Goodness, more of goodness. Would anybody like to read this, whatever is on the screen? Start with the mode of goodness first, okay? Or let's start from mode of ignorance. We'll start from the opposite.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah, start from mode of ignorance, from below, and
Okay.
after mode of ignorance, you can stop. 3 points and stop.
Okay.
Yes.
Happiness in the mode of ignorance, characteristics which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion.
Right.
Should I read passion and goodness?
No.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So let us see the shloka as well for that. Okay. So the happiness, it is said, let me read the full thing here. It's 18.37. It says that which in the beginning is just like poison, but in the end like nectar, which awakens one. Okay, I'm sorry, the wrong one. 38 and 39. Yeah, this one. That happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is called to be nature of ignorance. Okay, let's see the words, Sanskrit words. It says, Sukham mohanam nidra alasya pramada tamasa mudahata. Okay, nidra means sleep. So sometimes we get happiness out of sleep also, right? Can you tell me an example of happiness that people want to get out of sleep? I mean, which is like a vivid example of mode of ignorance. Yeah.
On winter mornings,
That's normal. That's like normal, but go to a little bit extreme. Extreme examples of people who want to be sleepy. What is that happiness?
Drug addicts, Prabhuji.
Yeah, the drug addicts. What about the alcoholics? Am I right? So what is the fundamental philosophy or principle of alcohol? That why do people take alcohol?
Hallucination.
Hallucination. It makes you drowsy. It makes you get disconnected from reality.
High.
Right? Yeah. It
It
gives
gives
you a high.
you a high.
Yeah, it gives you a high, and sometimes you sleep. Like, I mean, we see people sleeping on the streets, right? And they don't even know where they are, right? That happens, right? So this is what it is. Exactly, that's the thing. So nidra, laziness, alasya. Alasya means laziness. Sometimes procrastination and laziness also gives some kind of happiness. How many of you have experienced that?
Very much.
Yes. Yeah. So all of us, all the time, or most of the time, we are experiencing, I mean, honestly, right? Let's be honest. So being lazy also, there is some kind of happiness. I mean, like, there are two kinds of reaction that we can do when there is something which is very important event that you're supposed to do. Maybe like you have an exam, or maybe you have something that is coming up deadline. The two ways to respond. One is like very diligently start working very nicely. Or second one is like, chalo yaar, dekhte hain. Later, we will see. And we leave it at the last minute until like it becomes like do or die. And then we start running, right? So that's all. There's also some happiness by ignoring it. Okay, ignoring whatever we are supposed to do. That is alasya. Pramada is illusion. Illusion. So this is something like completely taking up whatever is not true at all. So something like, there's some people who play these games, right? Mobile games, and then they're wasting a lot of time, isn't it? There's some games like PUBG and all, right? Even I have played games in my childhood. I honestly, I've wasted a lot of time in my teenage also. I admit that. Okay. So yes, so it's illusion, don't you think? I mean, what is it that we're getting out of the video game ultimately, right? we're getting some points, right? We're killing somebody within that game, ultimately getting nothing out of it, isn't it? Sometimes it's like watching web series, right? These are all the common habits that people have right now, right? Web series, continuously binge watching, they call it, right? When you binge watch, what happens? Right? Binge watching means continuously watching something one after the other, one after the other. You're not doing anything. You're completely under the control of that and losing yourself. Okay, so that is illusion. So this is completely mode of ignorance, blind to self-realization. Okay. Now let's go to the mode of passion. I hope everybody got what is mode of ignorance, happiness, got a taste of it, right? So somewhere, yes, we also have a little bit of experience for sure. In some cases, a little bit more experience also. But yeah, the vivid example is alcoholics and drug addicts and people addicted to very sinful activities who are doing some very sinful and very, what do you say, psychotic activities and getting pleasure out of it, right? There are some people like that, weird people. That's mode of ignorance altogether, right? Let's talk about mode of passion. This is definitely more relatable. Yes, Nitya Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Mode is passion, and the characteristics of happiness and mode of passion is which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thing is, which is derived from the contact of senses with their objects. We have never thought about this. Whatever happiness that we are getting, right? When we indulge into some kind of happiness, maybe it is about eating our favorite ice cream or our favorite chocolate, or it can be like our favorite sweet, right? When we're doing that activity. So from where are we getting that happiness? Did we ever think about it? Honestly, I never thought about this. I mean, when I read this shloka for the first time, I was completely mind blown. That is it. Like that. Okay, so this is like happiness which is derived from the senses with their objects. Tell me how much percentage of our happiness, right, we are getting out of, yeah, the so-called entertainment. How much percentage of our happiness in our lives? Talk like a common man. Okay, let's not talk like a devotee or anything like that. Just like a normal person. How much percentage of our life we get happiness out of the senses associating with their objects? It can be as simple as eyes watching something which is very pleasing to watch.
Very much, Prabhuji. Maximum.
Yeah. Ears hearing what we want to hear, right? And all the senses. There are only 5 senses, and then yeah. So we're getting pleasure from these senses, right? So this is mode of passion is what Krishna is saying. And what is very interesting here is he's saying which appears like nectar at the first and poison at the end. Right? This is definitely very interesting. I'm sure we would have never thought about this in this angle. That this happiness, whatever I'm having, is very nice in the beginning, but towards the end, it's going to be like the ending is definitely very bad. Can you tell me some very simple example for that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Asthmatic patient is restricted not to have ice creams and cold drinks, but they cannot control their senses. They consume it, and they have to suffer it. At the beginning, when they're consuming, it is very pleasurable, very nice. But when when they get that attack, then it is very bitter. They have to go to doctors.
Yeah, that's right. Any more examples? That's nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Even food also, Prabhuji. Food, when we see that is all the unhealthy foods, which is very tempting, it is pleasurable, very tasty, delicious. We consume it, and later we have to suffer either food poisoning or something else. So that.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you.
Prabhuji, wasting time not studying, then failing in the exams.
Yeah, that is mode of ignorance. That's coming towards the little bit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
below. Yeah, that is in the
Hello,
sleep,
Prabhuji.
laziness, and illusion. No, yeah.
Hello, Prabhuji. Actually, we feel that moment happy, but it's temporary. You don't feel later, maybe sometime you feel happy. Suppose you score high or achieve something, we feel happy, but it is very temporary. I feel probably it won't remain permanent. Very short time that happiness will be there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
When hoarding things, Prabhuji, like some are very materialistic and we hoard things, and later we have to suffer that things only will kill us. So such level of hoarding also people suffer from.
True. And in shopping also it happens with us, right? We shop out of emotion most of the time, isn't it? So near shopping, like we get that excitement and that high and that okay, it's like
Shopping gives high, Prabhuji. Shopping gives high. And it is very momentary only. All these are momentary only, temporary, very temporary.
yes. So it's okay if we buy something which we need, but a lot of times we end up buying something which we don't need at all. We didn't have a plan at all to buy, but it's a very expensive thing out of our budget completely. But we justify it with emotions, right? So all of this is like nectar in the beginning, but poison at the end. Okay. But actually, if you think about it, it's a very, very deep statement, right? So most of the time, we are actually doing this. Let's be honest. Thing is, Krishna's instructions are definitely very, very wonderful. But as a normal living person or normal living entity, for us to immediately start devotional service or to do any devotional activity, we may not be in that mindset to start, isn't it? Like it's like you have to do a little bit of force that yeah, now I have to
Chanting
sit down.
itself is like that only, Prabhuji. Chanting also is like that, Prabhuji. Initially, it is very, 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 very bitter and bitter, bitter, bitter. But once we complete the rounds and we do some devotional activities, we feel pleasure. We feel good. We feel good.
Yeah, we feel very good, right? After chanting, we feel very happy. After doing Mangalarti, we feel very happy. After doing Tulsi Aarti, we feel very happy. Right? After doing some kind of devotional service, it will be very happy. But at that time, it will be difficult, right? So, yeah, go ahead and read the mode of goodness.
Yes, Prabhuji. More goodness, characteristics which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, which awakens one to self-realization. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari.
That's very important. So the point here is Sukham Satvikam is Atma Buddhi Prasadajam Pariname Amrutopamam. It's Tadagre Vishamiva. That means in the beginning it's like poison, right? It's like poison. See, most of the people in India, they have fair idea about spirituality. They know that this is a process, it's a spiritual process, it's nice and it's traditional, and it's good for us. They know that, everybody knows. But they run away from it. Can you tell me why?
Because it is difficult, it requires a lot of effort.
Yeah. So the first thing that the common man thinks about is that I have to give up something, right? I have to give up my basic pleasures, right? How can I give up something very basic? I mean, I cannot live a life like I renunciate. That's the first thing that comes, right? What will I have in my life if I give up the basic pleasures of my life? Whatever is like pleasure for my life, if I give up in the name of spirituality and rules and regulations, I'll have nothing with me. This is the
Prabhuji,
first.
can I just tell
Yes,
something?
please, please.
The main culprit is TV, Prabhuji.
Okay, expand.
Yeah, because they will sit and watch whatever they want, and the news channels are like they go on and on and on. Then they want to see, they want to go to the exhibitions and all those things. And this is, who's going to go to the temple and all. And also, it is all driven, market driven, like the amount of advertisements that come that, you get, what do you call, you get trapped in it.
Yeah.
And to maintain that prestige, like, oh, this lady, for what I forget, even for those pujas, I think that Shravan Masam, I had a neighbor, Prabhuji.
Yes.
She used to buy so many saris, and I don't know whether it was a display for saris or whether it was the Shravan Masam is for pujas.
Okay.
And those lady, all those housewives, they are basically accumulating saris.
Okay, okay.
So that is what I saw, probably, and I see also. But this is what is happening. Very few are actually serious about it.
Yeah. So you're saying in the name of religion that there's somewhere doing some kind of sense gratification.
What is the needs, Prabhuji? Is it really needed? Meaning I don't know whether for that Lakshmi Puja that they do you
Hmm.
really have to dress up like one Lakshmi?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nice. Okay, fine. Yes, Mataji.
I
So
really don't
yes,
know whether it is that, I mean, we do have to do it, or is it?
it's definitely not required. See, God, Krishna is like, he wants simplicity. He wants a simple heart. He wants us to submit ourselves that we are nothing in front of him. Then he will accept our worship, right? We
Mm.
go like one big Duryodhana in front of Krishna, trying to show our opulence. And why will Krishna take anything from us, right?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm saying mode of passion. See, most of the entertainment that we have today is like that. It is poison, but it is so nicely dressed up. It is so nicely packaged, so nicely packaged, so nicely packaged that at the end, the result is poison. You agree, right? Final result is poison. The entertainment that we have today. And spirituality is like that only. It is like poison. The moment anybody hears, we see when we go, we can see this when we go and distribute Bhagavad Gita on the streets, okay? There'll be some people who will be very, very scared to touch the Bhagavad Gita. That, oh,
I was one of them.
okay. Yeah, happens. It is normal. I'm saying normal. Because common man thinks, oh, I have to give up something. First thing that comes out to our mind is now I have to become a sannyasi, to give up everything. And now I'm going to become a shaven head sannyasi now, immediately, as soon as I want to touch this. Right? So we see people go to Kashi and they give up their favorite things. So something like that. People have some conception about religion, which is not really what Krishna is saying. So we have to clarify what is Krishna's message, what is our thought process. It's not matching. Okay. Even Arjuna also has got some thought process that he's thinking, okay, spirituality means I must become a sannyasi now and beg on the streets. Then I shall be realizing, self-realizing. Krishna is saying it's the opposite. It's not necessary, he says, right? He says you give up your fruits of action and just follow your duties and act for me. That is better than self-realization. That is better than you taking up sannyas. That's what he says, finally, right? Instead of becoming a faulty or a hypocrite sadhu who can fall down any moment, it is better you remain in your duty and do actions without any result. That is much more difficult than just changing dress. You agree, right? Changing dress is very easy, right? It just takes a, you just buy 250 rupees, 250 rupees, 500 rupees. We can get some saffron ropes and sadhu is ready. But what is more difficult is to keep Krishna consciousness, to be keeping Krishna in our consciousness all the time, to be working for Krishna, right? And to be working without any expectation for the result is very, very difficult. Giving up everything is very easy. It just takes some one moment. That's nothing. That's not so great. That's what Krishna is saying. It's hypocrisy. So mode of goodness is it's like poison. So when we hear all of this, we may like think, oh my God, to chant 16 rounds. For the first time I've heard you have to chant 16 rounds, I was shocked. How can anybody chant 16 rounds? How is it possible? How will anybody have such a stamina to sit down and chant? I thought once, right? I went to one temple, ISKCON temple, and then there was one Prabhuji, and he said, come, let us chant. And I sat down with him, okay? And then he chanted continuously 16 rounds with me. Then I felt like, oh, I can do it. So it's like that. We need help. So mode of goodness is not intuitive. Definitely, it's not intuitive. Okay, and let us face it. We are not so good at packaging, right? These guys, we can't beat the people of mode of passion, the entertainment industry, right? Their packaging is so good. We have so much of content, but our packaging is missing, right? We have so many stories. We can take so many movies, don't you think, from Bhagavatam? Earlier, they used to take so many movies, right? Especially in the South, it's famous to take a lot of movies on Pauranik movies, right? There is
Yes,
so
Prabhuji, Bhagavatam is filled with heroes and actors, very much inspiring characters. It's very
yeah, there's so much of content, so many movies we can make with so many nice VFX and so many nice poetics and thrilling scenes. But somehow we are not able to do it, right? So we're not able to package it properly. But if we can do it, it's the best. We have so much of knowledge. Mahabharata itself is such a amazing drama, isn't it? Such a complex drama. Yeah. So to summarize, mode of goodness is like poison. That's why people stay away from it. But it is nectar at the end. That's the important point. It awakens one to self-realization. It's called Brahma Sukham. This Brahma Sukham is called Anantam. There's a beautiful shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that the normal pleasure is available even for a hog. You see, on the streets, there are some hogs. If you go to some towns, may not be visible in cities, in the main streets, but if you go to some towns, not so developed, you'll see some pigs, hogs. Hogs are eating stool. Bhagavatam is saying even the hog eating stool has got pleasure that we are seeking. But only by doing tapasya we can get Brahma Sukham Anantam. If you want to experience Brahma Sukha, that is a happiness, spiritual happiness, we have to do tapasya, we have to do austerity. We have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. But that is Anantam. It is not like Antam. It's not like a temporary thing, right? Sometimes we will be happy for 10 minutes or like 1 hour, and after that we are not happy at all. We're feeling depressed, right? It's not like that. So that's about the happiness. And then let us go to the next verse. This was very profound points. Let me just see what's there next. Yeah, now comes, we're switching a topic now. The topic is, so far we discussed about happiness. Now we're going to switch topic about something very close, relatable. It's about how to become liberated by doing your own duties. Right? All of us, we want to continue doing whatever we are doing. Right? Somewhere or the other, we are attached to our profession. Right? You agree, right? Our profession or whatever work that we have taken up, we're attached to it. Let's face it. Let's agree. Right? So that's the given point. That's where we are right now. Okay? So we have to come out of this stage and become liberated. We can't jump from this position to a liberation platform by throwing away everything and going to the forest. It's not going to work like that. We have heard the story of Buddha, who just walked away from house. Right? Buddha saw, some dying person. He saw somebody taking birth, somebody who was having disease, and he went out of the house and then he got enlightened. That's not going to work. That formula will not work for us. Right? At least Krishna is not recommending that kind of a thing. And even Rishabhadev, King Rishabhadev, he's the incarnation of Lord. So he left out of the kingdom. He was a Chakravarti. He was an emperor of the entire world. Such a big emperor. Great emperor. He walked out of his house naked. So these are some examples which we cannot imitate, and we should not imitate also. There is no need to imitate such kind of examples. Like Rishabhadeva, why we should imitate Lord? Lord can do anything. It sometimes people ask that Krishna, he's having 16,000 wives, he's dancing with the gopis. Then we should answer them. Krishna is Rishabhadeva also. Rishabhadeva, he left everything and naked out of the kingdom. That is detachment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's completely detached. So it's just his Leela. Don't get tricked. Right? It is Krishna's Leela. Krishna is completely detached. He is the most detached person in the entire universe. Right? And he is teaching the detachment. Actually, even the sannyasis also get strength from Krishna. And how many of you know that Lord Krishna took sannyasa? Did you know that? Did you know that? Lord Krishna took sannyas? Did you know
No,
that?
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, that is before taking up that education in
No, that's not,
during
not
Sandipani.
that. That's brahmacharya. That's before
Okay,
Sandipani.
okay.
He actually renounced, he actually took sannyas towards the end. In the Bhagavatam, it is there. Because, thing is, Krishna has created a Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtva Guna Karma Vibhakashaha. If Krishna doesn't do something, people will not do. Krishna went to the school, therefore we go to the school. Krishna went to the school, he became brahmachari, therefore we become brahmachari. Krishna was a grihastha, therefore we become grihastha. And he is the, what do you say, the guide for, the guru for the sannyasis, right? It's the Vedanta Vedyaya, Krishna. These sannyasis, what are they reading? What literature they are reading? They are reading Upanishads, right? Which is written by Krishna only, Veda Vyasdev, incarnation, Vyasdev incarnation only, right? They are reading Srimad Bhagavatam otherwise, Vedanta Sutras, Bhashya. They are reading about Krishna only after taking it. So, Krishna actually took sannyas. That's what happened towards the end when the Yadavas fight and all the people fight with each other. At that point of time, he leaves from his house, just like how a sannyasi leaves, and then he sits down under a tree, just like a sannyasi. And then Uddhava comes. You know this, right? Uddhava comes, Maitreya comes, and they take instructions from Krishna. Krishna shows how to be so detached, right? So he's completely detached. And then there's a hunter who puts an arrow, and then the rest of the disappearance Leela starts, right? Okay, why am I talking about all of this? I'm talking about this because there are different kinds of varnashrama system that Krishna has created. That is, how to attain liberation, how to attain spiritual progress by doing activities which are suiting our nature. This is the main point of varnashrama dharma. Our nature, modes of material nature. We have spoken about it in detail. 3 modes, Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamagun. By now we have some fair idea, right? What is Sattvagun, what is Rajogun, what is Tamagun? We have fair idea about a worker in mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Am I right? We have fair idea about happiness in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So we have a fair idea about how a person behaves in the mode of goodness. He is more interested and inclined towards knowledge, in teaching people, in a very peaceful profession, in a profession without any cheating, right? Being independent. That is mode of passion, mode of goodness. Person who's in mode of passion, he's like a controller who wants to take control of everything, right? Who wants to defeat, who wants to fight, right? Who wants to show his prowess, greatness, right? Who wants to maintain everybody, who wants to give charity a lot. This is a person who is in the mode of passion. A person who is in the mode of mixed mode of passion and ignorance is like profit oriented. They want to build the businesses. These days we see so many people, they want to do businesses. 50 years to 100, 200 years back, the trend was to go and capture countries, right? That's what the Britishers and all the Europeans were doing, right? 500 years back also they captured America, right? The Europeans went to America, and then now it's America. And then these Britishers, they came to India, Portuguese, they came, French, they came, and, different invasions, trying to capture different places and loot money. And that was the trend that time. Now the trend is, build businesses. So that's a different modes of material nature finally. Okay. Ultimately, either it's mode of passion or mode of passion plus ignorance. I mean, they want to build the unicorns. I want to build like very big business, and which is $1 billion business startup. So that's a unicorn, mode of passion plus ignorance. That is one nature. We are not criticizing any nature here. Nature is nature. We have it. Either it's goodness or passion or ignorance. Hate it or love it, it is there. Am I right? So, mode of ignorance is, I don't want to think about anything. I just want to do some service. I just want my salary. That's it. This is mode of ignorance. So, Krishna has divided technically Varnashrama system based on these modes of material nature. He said, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtva Guna Karma Vibhakasha. Also, of course, this is one of the most controversial topics right now in our Hinduism, because We have been brainwashed by the Britishers, repeatedly stating that this is a caste system, this is the caste system, or trying to say that this is a very bad system, it's a very social evil, etc., etc. It may have been turned into a caste system, but originally it is not a caste system. That's the first point. And just like, Prabhupada says, if there is a cataract in the eye, you get it operated. You don't pluck it out, right? But today's generation, the thought process is like, oh, Hinduism, caste system. First they say that. So completely reject it. What is the point? There is so much of beautiful concepts in Hinduism. And we have all of these wonderful things. And without understanding and finding out the root cause of where problems are there, or where the social evils have come, how to fix them, instead of focusing on that, we want to just take the narrative of the Britishers and just hate our own traditions. So now we have come to a stage where we hate ourselves. When we think of Hinduism, the first thing that comes to our mind is superstition. Second thing, untouchability. Third thing, social evil. So we don't have anything positive to think about. When we think about Hinduism, all these negative things come about, and we think, I'm not a very proud Hindu. I'm an atheist. That's what happens finally, right? So what I'm trying to say is, we'll try to understand originally Krishna's conception of a society, how he conceived the society and how it ran, how India and Sanatana Dharma, it has been running. This system is not a new system that has been introduced or stopped by Britishers or somebody. It's been running from millions of years. In the Kali Yuga, of course, there is definitely a problem, but in the previous Yugas, there was no problem. Even if there was a problem, it was not so intense as much as in Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, it is said Kalo Shudra Sambhava. That means in Kali Yuga, more or less everybody is a Shudra. So in that sense, there is a hatred towards Brahminical culture. The word Brahminical culture itself is used as a negative terminology now, which is supposed to be so positive. Krishna is saying, Krishna is Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitayachara Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo. He is the protector of the Brahminical culture, protector of the Brahmins and the cows. Today we have come to the stage where we hate Brahmins and cows and the Brahminical culture. So therefore we hate Krishna also, right? Because we hate the culture, right? So let us keep all of this aside and first fundamentally understand what is the original concept, what is the Daivi Varna Ashrama system that Krishna is trying to explain, okay? Without any biases or any kind of social interferences or stigmas, etc., etc., etc. The idea is purification through the prescribed duties of Varnashrama. And it is not something that any human being has created. Krishna himself is openly claiming, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtva. He's telling, I have created this system. So people are trying to find out who created this, who created this. Krishna is openly saying, it's me who has created it. Right? Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtva. Guna Karma Vibhagasaha. That is very important. It's not a birth-based system. It's based on what? Anybody can say it's based on what?
Modes of
Profession.
material nature
Guna and karma, two things. Guna means
and the work.
Profession.
karma means profession. Based on our own swabhava, our own gunas, the three modes of material nature, and the profession that we have picked up, we get the designation whether we are a Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, or Shudra. And it is not that somebody is better than this somebody. It's not like that. It's just like when Krishna describes, or when the Vedas describe this, they describe as, the Brahmanas have come from the head, and Kshatriyas have come from the hands, and the Vaishyas have come from the thighs, and Shudras have come from the legs. And again, people have a lot of problem with that. How dare you say that Shudras have come from the legs? Are legs not important? I mean, are our legs also protesting with us that, how dare you call me legs? How dare you give me chappal? Whatever I wear, you put it down. How dare you do that? Our legs are not protesting, right? So the point is, the society, it is an analogy. The society, Brahmanas are the head means, it's a brain department. Brain department is supposed to be guiding. See, in my body, all my parts are important, isn't it? Will anybody be happy if he loses both the legs? Tell me. on the wheelchair, will anybody be happy? I don't need these legs. So aren't legs important? Legs are very important. Very, very important. Aren't hands important? Right? And then we have the thighs. We don't need the thighs. Right? And what about the head? Okay, let's say we don't have legs, okay, hands, okay. What happens if there is no head? Is it possible that we can live without the head? Right? So that's what Prabhupada says, headless society, brainless society. The society which is not guided by the Brahmanas, with the Brahmanical culture, is a brainless society, materialistic civilization, or in Prabhupada's words, it is a civilization of the demons. It's only demoniac, that's it. Only goal of life is to make money and pleasure, that's it. So, but the purpose of Varnashrama system is not making money, or it is not about finding pleasure. It's not both of them. The purpose of Varnashrama system is moksha. Dharmasya hi apavargasya. There's a shloka in Bhagavatam which says dharma is meant for apavarga. That means dharma is meant for liberation. This Varnashrama dharma or Hindu dharma is not meant for economic development or sense gratification, right? Or it's definitely not about curbing some society, some weaker society and trying to show that you are great. It's Bhagavad Gita is exactly opposite of it. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, be humble, right? He's saying, see everybody equally. It's definitely not this. It's a bad propaganda. So we have to clear all of this. So purification through prescribed duties. So more or less everybody is following Varnashrama Dharma. With our knowledge or without our knowledge, we are following. So if we are already following it to some extent, we will properly understand how to do it correctly. How to do our Varnashrama system correctly so that we can please Krishna. Let us read this. Yes, anybody can read this table, please.
Prabhuji, can I only read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Natural qualities under the modes. Brahmanas, mode of goodness is peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness.
Yes.
Kshatriya's mode of passion.
Okay, let's stop there.
Okay.
So here the point is, the Brahmanas are supposed to be in the mode of goodness. The Brahmanical profession, the idea is this set of people are interested in knowledge, and particularly Vedic knowledge, particularly Vedic system, Vedic knowledge, that is the spiritual knowledge. They are interested in teaching spiritual knowledge, in learning spiritual knowledge. They're interested in performing fire sacrifices or deity worship for themselves or for others. And they will be giving charity and they'll be taking charity. 6 activities of a Brahmana. And nobody can just say that I'm a Brahmana because my father is a Brahmana. That is not allowed. Just like how a lawyer cannot say that, I'm a son of a lawyer, therefore I'm a lawyer. That's not allowed. You are a son of lawyer, but you will not be called a lawyer at all unless you qualify yourself. You should qualify yourself for the college. You should complete the degree, education, and then you should get your license. Then you will be called as a lawyer. Correct? Similarly, a Brahmana also is like that. Simply by birth, nobody can become a Brahmana. Okay, these are some of the problems that we have in our system today. It says that by birth, nobody is a Brahmana. Right? It is said, Janmana jayate Shudraha. That means by birth, everybody is a Shudra. Janmana jayate Shudraha. Then it says, Veda Pato Bhaved Vipra. By reading Vedas, they come to the stage of Vipra. Then Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. By understanding Brahman, they become Brahman. Samskarat bhave dvija. I missed that, sorry. Samskarat bhave dvija means first step is Janmana jayate Shudra. By birth, everybody is Shudra. Second one is Samskarat bhave dvija. Samskara means Upanayana Samskara. They do an Upanayana Samskara. It's one of the Samskaras which is performed for the Brahmanas, where they give a sacred thread. Okay, and they give the holy Gayatri mantra. The Guru gives. So after that, they come to the stage of Dvija. By Samskara, Dvija stage. Still not Brahmana. Next stage is Veda Pato Bhavet Vipraha. By reading Vedas, they become Vipra. Next, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. That means unless one knows the Brahman, what is the Supreme Brahman, who is Krishna, what is Atma, what is Paramatma, until that knowledge is known, nobody can say I am Brahmana. And they are supposed to have these qualities: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. Sama, Shamo, Dama. Samo, Shamo, Damas, Tapas, Shaucham, Kshantirarjavamevacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Svabhavacham. So without this qualification, nobody can say I am a Brahman. It's not allowed. Okay. And still more advanced point of understanding is Krishna says in Mahabharata that a real Brahmana is a devotee. Anybody who is a pure devotee of Krishna, who is surrendered to Krishna, he is a real Brahmana. And the so-called Brahmana, even though he may have been trained in the Vedas and he may be having all the qualities mentioned here, but if he is not my devotee, Krishna says he is an outcast. This is given in the Mahabharata and various Puranas like Padma Purana. Means the real qualification to be a Brahmana is to become the devotee of Krishna. Okay. Next point, Kshatriya. Please go ahead and read Kshatriya.
Kshatriya's mode of passion, heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So the first one was Brahmanas. Examples is Sudama. Example is Sudama. From Krishna Leela, Sudama. Perfect example, right? A very nice Brahmana. Perfect Brahmana. Who was like so poor all the time, and but still he never did anything which is against Brahminical culture, right? He's very peacefully tolerating and he's a great devotee of Krishna. The next one is Kshatriya. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. You can see the example Bhishma Pitamaha, right? Bhishma Pitamaha, like very heroic, very powerful, determined. Dhruva Maharaj, when he was challenged by his stepmother that you go and find Vishnu, he went and he literally took it. And then he went to the forest and he meditated on Vishnu for 6 months and he was able to see Lord Vishnu. That is Kshatriya. Dhruva Maharaj, right? And just like how we have Bhima and Bhishma, Arjuna, perfect examples, right? Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle. Yuddhecha apalayanam. That means a Kshatriya should never run away from a battle. Okay, this is very interesting. I'll ask you something now. Okay, Krishna is saying, when he is talking about Kshatriya qualities, he's saying Shauryam Tejo Dhriti Daksham Yuddhecha apalayanam Danam Ishvara Bhavascha Kshatra Karma Svabhavacha. Krishna is saying Yuddhecha api apalayanam. That means not fleeing in a war. What is Krishna trying to say to Arjuna indirectly? Anybody can say? What is Krishna telling by telling that?
Kshatriyas are never meant to be covered.
Don't run away from the battle. He's telling that. Be a Kshatriya. Right? He's telling you are a Kshatriya. Why is he saying all of this? Right? He's saying all of this because he's reminding that this is Varnashrama system based on the guna and karma, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, all of this. And based on your Svabhava, you are a Kshatriya. And the quality of a Kshatriya is Yuddhecha apalayanam. You cannot run away from the war. That is considered very, very worst for a Kshatriya. How can a hero run away? Right? Just imagine your favorite tournament, cricket or any sports tournament, and as a star player whom everybody is counting upon, and in the last minute that person simply drops out, says, I'm feeling scared, I don't want to play this game. How do you feel about it? Right? Very disappointed, no? How can this person leave like that? Right? disappointed. So Arjuna is not expected to leave the war like this. Kshatriya. And Vaishyas, farming, cow protection, and business is their job. Can you tell me an example of Vaishyas from Krishna Leela? That should be easy.
All Vrajavasis of Vrindavan were
Yeah,
farming,
okay.
they were doing cow protection,
Yes.
and that's all. They were not doing business, I guess. No, Prabhuji?
Maybe they were selling curd. I don't know. Maybe they're selling.
Barter system was like barter system. They were doing some
Yeah,
exchange.
maybe
I
they
guess.
were doing barter system with butter, etc. With the dairy products, right? It's a dairy product kind of a business. It's a dairy product business, right? So yeah, farming, cow protection, and business is Vaishyas, right? Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam. That's what Krishna is saying. Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam. And Shudra is labor and service to others. Okay, so of course, the word has become very derogatory these days, that we feel a little bit to even utter it out. But there's no need, because it's very simple classification. If somebody is based out of earning money based out of income, salary, wages, it all comes under the Shudra department. Just like how we call it Labor Day. Labor Day is for the employees, right? Employees are all under the labor laws. In other words, they are laborers. They're white collar laborers. So if you say labor, if the IT employee is a Shudra, yes, it is. That's what it is. Okay. So Vaishya is businessman. That is, they're living on profits. Kshatriya is administrators. They're living on taxes. They take taxes. But a funny manifestation of this in our country is, in democracy, our people think they are Kshatriyas. It's democracy. And these fellows, the MLAs, MPs, and so on people, they go and collect taxes from the businessmen, right? It's supposed, I mean, at least from a democracy point of view, that's illegal, isn't it? You cannot collect that tax, right? It is supposed to be going to the government. But as per Kshatriya system, that's allowed. Brahmanas are like the peaceful, teaching Vedas, accepting charity, etc. Okay. So example of a Shudra from Krishna Leela. Who is the favorite devotee of Krishna who is a Shudra? Is it that Krishna does not like Shudra?
Jadavarata, Prabhuji? No,
Not
no, no, no.
Jadakarta, not
Bharata
Jadakarta.
Maharaj is not. No, sorry.
Yeah. There is a propaganda going on that Krishna hates Shudras, but it's contrary to what the reality is. It's nothing like that. There are so many great devotees who are Shudras. I'll tell you one person from Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela. Ramananda Rai was a Shudra. So Ramananda Rai is such an exalted devotee. I don't remember who exactly he was.
Haridas Thakur also, Prabhuji.
Haridas Thakur was not even a Shudra. He was outcast.
Yeah, that's what. He's even
He was
more than that.
Yavana.
Huh?
He was Yavana. Yavana means below that.
Ramananda Rai was governor, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, he was governor, but he was Shudra by birth. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Ramananda Rai for the first time, you know how their encounter was? It's very, very funny. Okay, we won't be able to understand the way they met each other. They start hugging each other and they fall down and they start crying. Okay, that's something we cannot understand. Okay, they're in ecstasy looking at each other. Ramananda Rai. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls him, and then Ramananda Rai with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses Rasa Leela, etc. with Ramananda Rai, only with Ramananda Rai, nobody else, not even with Nityananda Prabhu. And another example for a Shudra is Vidura, right? And Lord Krishna, when he went to Vidura's house, he accepted banana peels, right? He rejected the royal meal provided by Duryodhana, right? So this is all a propaganda that people are saying that, okay, this is Brahminical culture, Hindu gods don't like Brahmana, Shudras, etc., etc. There's actually Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, what was that? In Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka. Okay, the 9th chapter. Let me just try to find that shloka. Give me a moment. It's a very beautiful shloka where Krishna says, yes, those who take shelter in me. Hello everybody. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much for joining. Those who take shelter in me, those who take shelter in me, though they are of lower birth, women, Vaishyas and Shudras, they can attain supreme destination. Krishna is saying that. Mam hi partha vyapasritya yepisyu papa yonayah striyo Vaishyas tata Shudraha tepi yanti param gati. Okay. So Krishna is saying it does not matter whether a person is a Vaishya or a Shudra or whatever they may be, they can attain supreme destination. The point is, Shudra may be doing service, taking salary, but the point is he must be Krishna conscious. He must be doing it for Krishna. Then he can go back to God. Vaishya may be doing profit making, which is not a very pure activity, because we know that businesses, they do a lot of lying, right, for selling their products, isn't it? Just like how we have the false marketing for the products, right? Healthy, fresh cream. The product label does not suggest the actual quality of the product, right? And real juice. So many tricks. Kshatriyas are doing violence, right? But still it's okay if they are Krishna conscious and if they're following the rules of the scriptures, which is given in the Vedas. That they are supposed to be fighting within the war, not simply that they have a weapon and they'll go and kill everybody on the street. Brahmanas are like the best in a sense because they're having a non-violent job. That's why Arjuna was getting attracted. He wanted to be like a Brahmana. But even Brahmanas also have to commit some sinful reactions. You know what? Anybody can guess what's that?
So many germs while cooking and all, we kill so many germs and it's
not that.
simple.
Okay, that is one
okay,
that's
sir.
common for everybody. There's one more sinful activity that they'll have to perform sometimes. It is something to do with
Sacrifices, Prabhuji.
fire sacrifices. When they have to
Even animal sacrifice also.
yes, they
Animal
have to perform
sacrifices.
the animal sacrifice sometimes, right? Ashwamedha Yajna was performed, right? And the horse was killed, right? That's an animal sacrifice, right? Animal, there is violence. So what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, very interesting, that see, whatever activity you may be doing, let's see what he's saying. Anybody can read this shloka and the translation, very important point. Krishna will bring about here.
May I, Prabhuji? Hare
Yes, please, go
Krishna.
ahead, go ahead, yes.
Bhagavad Gita 18.48. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api natyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumay nagnir ivavritaha. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So every endeavor, there is some fault. Okay, it's not that there is some endeavor which is faultless. It's not possible that there cannot be smoke when there is fire, isn't it? Just like how the Brahmanas, they have to do fire sacrifices. Somewhere there is some violence involved. Yes. Or they have to even accept charity. Even that also there is a fault. If you accept charity, okay, it's very nice. Okay, I'm taking charity. But remember, we are taking the sinful activity of the person who is giving the charity. Did you know that? If you accept charity from somebody, you are accepting that person's sinful activities. So is that not a fault? That's also a fault. That's also a fault. Then in that way, the entire society has nothing to do. Everywhere there's a fault, right? So in the Brahmanas, there's a fault that they're accepting charity from others, and there's sinful action in that, or they are doing fire sacrifices, there's sinful activity in that. Kshatriyas, they're obviously doing violence, obviously there's sinful activity. Vaishyas, they're doing a lot of lying and business tricks, marketing, etc. There is a fault in that. Shudras are doing service to others. Sometimes they may have to do whatever the master says, right? Companies sometimes they just say, they hire a accountant and they say, do the account window dressing. They just have to do it. That's it. They have no option. They say just change everything. Change from profit to loss, loss to profit. They have to do it. There's no option that I want. This is my opinion. Keep your opinion with you. Just do it. So you have to do it, right? So happens. Then everything is faulty, right? Everything is faulty. But Krishna is saying every endeavor there is some fault, just as fire is covered with smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born out of his nature, even if it is full of fault. Even if it is full of fault, don't give up. It's again a message to Arjuna. What is the message to Arjuna?
Even if you have to
Even
kill
not
your own
killing.
relatives, just go ahead with it.
Yeah, that's what Arjuna's main thing was. He's saying, I have to kill so many people, so many people become widows. Such a faulty activity. How can I taint my kingdom with the blood of my superiors and everything? Right? Krishna is saying every endeavor has some fault. Right? Even if it is full of fault, just do it, is what Krishna is saying. Do that. Because it's Krishna's instruction. Okay? It's a way of purification. If we don't accept this, there is no better alternative. Tell me something. Is there any other alternative than this? You tell me. Is there any alternative for fighting in the war on the border? Is there any alternative? Okay, let us do one thing. We will call all our border security forces back. Don't fight, because there will be violence. What will happen next?
Finished.
Yeah, we'll be finished. It will be worse consequence, isn't it? It will be the consequences will be so worst, isn't it? So if you
Just
order all the you order all the businessmen and say don't make any profits, no profits allowed, rule, then what will happen to the economy next? Right? Economy will crash. No, nobody is interested in profits, and you're not allowed to do profits, and there is so much of tax, and economy will crash, isn't it? If there is nobody to work, and if you give a lot of free things, nobody is there to work. That's what is happening. That's what people complain. There's nobody to work. There are no workers only. Then who is going to do the construction? Right? So if you ban everything, there's no point. If you start finding faults in your work, that, oh, my work is faulty, I'm doing this, oh, my work is faulty, stop this. Just do it. And that's what Krishna is telling, right? Very powerful. And then what is the most important point of all of this is, we have to do our activity and worship Krishna. That is the important point of this. There's a nice verse there. It says, by the this 19.546, there's 4.8, right? Sahajam api kaunteya. There's 4.6 here. Let me just show you this shloka. This is a very important link. The link is Yata pravritti bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Can anybody read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
This is such a powerful point of Bhagavad Gita, that you can attain perfection simply by performing your own work. Whatever profession you may be in, don't change that profession. What should you change?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. And you should worship Krishna. Right? That's what Brahma says. Sthane sthita sthitigatam tanuvan manobi. He says, Just stay where you are. Don't shift anything. Don't change the place. There's no need that you have to now leave house and maybe go to some spiritual place at the moment. No need. Just stay back where you are. No need to resign your work and become something. No. Stay where you are. Worship Krishna. That is the correct way of getting perfection. That's the main important point. Okay. Yes. Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you please read this?
Yes.
I'll be just back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 18.51 to 53. Brahma Bhuta stage. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self realization. Here also there is something, okay. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. Thus, one becomes the controller of the mind and is always in trance. Okay, it's the same thing.
Hare
He is
Krishna.
not attached to the objects of sense gratification and is free from attachment. Okay, it's the same thing, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. So the thing is, this is about Brahma Bhuta stage, right? Brahma Bhuta stage means it's a stage where we don't lament about the past, nor we worry about the future. So this is the supreme perfection that Krishna is talking about. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Nakankshati. 51 to 53, very important. So those people who are in Brahma Bhuta stage, they are in trance. Right? And this is the important verse. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nashochati Nakankshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate Param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So the first stage is impersonal liberation. Self-realization is not the final liberation or the final ultimate perfection. It's very clear from here. It says, Brahmabhuta prasannatma nashochati nakangshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. This is very powerful and important for us to know because we are all devotees. We are not dhyana yogis, we are not jnana yogis, nor we are any kind of other yogis. We are devotees. And then our ultimate perfection is to get what? Can anybody say what is our goal of life? What is our goal of life as devotees?
To attain lotus feet of Lord, back to Godhead.
Okay.
Back to back.
Yes, yes.
To get Krishna Prem.
To get Krishna Prema. To get love of Godhead is our ultimate perfection. So even before you get Krishna Prema, we should first become self-realized. So self-realization is a part of Krishna Prema or Bhakti. That means Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, encompasses self-realization. That means for a person who is a pure devotee, he is already self-realized. This is a very important point that Prabhupada says. That there are some people who object, saying that the devotees do not have self-realization or they are not looking for self-realization. It's wrong. Actually, the devotees are looking for pure devotional service, which is beyond self-realization. And self-realization is already covered within it. That's what Krishna is confirming. He's saying, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma and Madbhaktim Labate Param. That means after Brahmabhuta stage, Then you get Parabhakti of Krishna. Where is Krishna Prema? Okay, how many of you got it? So where Jnana ends, Bhakti begins. The Jnanis think that, Brahmabhuta stage is the ultimate all in all. No, there is a superior state to that. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. Right? By chanting the holy names of Krishna and by getting so many ecstatic symptoms, he showed what is that state, right? The state of Krishna Prema. This is beyond all the perfection. That is called supreme perfection. It's beyond the Brahmabhuta stage. So only by the mercy of Krishna and spiritual master, one can get the devotional service. Out of millions of living entities, one who is very fortunate gets the association of a bona fide spiritual master. It's not ordinary. Okay. Now, how do you understand Krishna? Can anybody read the shloka and the translation? Very important and beautiful translation. Yes. Can you read?
Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead.
Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tad anantaram. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So the point is, the way to understand Krishna is Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Very important phrase, right? Bhaktya means by devotional service. Mam means me. Abhijanati means one can understand me as I am only by devotional service. Yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. You can understand him tattvataha clearly only by devotional service and no other way. Then what happens after you understand Krishna? Tato mam tattvato jnatva. What happens after that? Vishate tadanantaram. Then you can enter into the kingdom of Godhead. Vishate. That means you can enter into Krishna. Entering into Krishna means entering into Krishna's world. Entering into Vaikuntha. Entering into Golok Vrindavan. Right? So that's what it is. So, yes. So Krishna is going to tell us something very, very interesting from now on. And we will stop here because Krishna is going to tell us the supreme secret of Bhagavad Gita. We will reserve it for the next class. We'll discuss that in detail. What is that supreme secret and the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? Okay. And what was Arjuna's realizations? All of that, we'll discuss that. Okay. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions or comments? You can ask. Any questions or
Hare
comments?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanwad Pranam. Prabhuji, I'm just interested and curious to know more about Vidura. So can you just give me a hint, like where exactly we can know
Vidura's
about him?
story is like he's the son of a maid servant. What happened is
Prabhuji, what is the difference between Dasi Putra and maid servant?
same. Dasiputra is a maid servant.
Dasi Putra, Dasi means it is different, no, Prabhuji?
Maids, Dasis are
Maids
maids.
are called Dasis, is it?
Yes, maids are
And
called
what is
Dasis.
the Devdasis they say, no, Prabhuji? In the temple,
Devdasi system
Devdasis.
is a system where there used to be some ladies who are dedicated to one temple who will stay there only and who will be patronized by the local king. And they are
And also,
married to the king.
Prabhuji, yes, and also, Prabhuji, even in Harinams for women, they give Devi Dasi name. What is the
That is
connection?
different. That's different. That's not Devadasi. That's Devadasi. That is Devadasi. This is Devi Dasi. This Devi Dasi means it's Devi means Devi. Dasi means Dasi of Krishna. It's not Devadas. Devadas system is something else. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. But where can we know more about Vidura, Prabhuji?
Vidura in Mahabharata. Vidura story, Amba, Ambalika, and Vyasadev. Vyasadev was supposed to be uniting with the queens of Kauravas. The reason is because I I think Vichitra Virya has passed away. So therefore, to one of the queens, Pandu Maharaj, and another queen will be Dhritarashtra, and the third one, what happens is like one of the queens sends a dasi instead of her going. So that's when Vidura is born. Which is what I recollect. If anybody knows the story better, please feel free to correct me. Okay. All right.
Prabhuji, and also one more doubt. Krishna says life is meant for austerity, Prabhuji. Austerity is we tend to do whimsically certain austerities without knowing it.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
can you just brief out like how exactly, what exactly
Very
Krishna
important.
means?
Yes, very important point. Austerity is, we do whimsical austerities. You said it absolutely right, because we see a lot of people doing a lot of different kinds of varieties of austerities. And why I'm saying whimsical is, whatever is not mentioned in the Shastras is not considered as austerity at all. It is considered as a torture for the super soul. It is called austerity in the mode of passion, austerity in the mode of ignorance. This is sloka itself in 17th chapter, right? Austerity in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Mode of goodness, austerity means following the scripture. Simple example. For example, it is said that on Krishna Janmashtami, we should keep a fast. Correct? And in the Kartik Mass, it is said that in the Kartik Mass, we are supposed to do these activities. We are not supposed to do these activities. Correct? On Ekadashi, we are not supposed to eat grains. Right? This is called following the scripture, Shastra. If we do not follow the scripture, and if we try to do it whimsically ourselves on our own, that's a wrong thing. The result of not following the Shastras, Krishna says, is we never get the perfection. Yat shastram viddhim utsrijya vartante kamakarataha na sasatim avapnoti siddhim na paramgatim. That means if we do some whimsical austerities like fasting on Friday, fasting on Tuesday, fasting on Thursday, fasting on this day, fasting on that day, there's some people who fast 4 or 5 days continuously, right? All of this, Krishna says it's wrong. That's it. We have to follow the scriptures. The scriptures, you read Hari Bhakti Vilasa. The Hari Bhakti Vilasa, it's given which days we are supposed to fast. Narsimha Chaturdasi, you fast. Why not on Narsimha Chaturdasi? Why not on Ekadasi? You fast on Ekadashi. You fast on Narsimha Chaturdasi. You fast on Krishna Janmashtami. There are so many days which are designated for fast. Right? And the fasting also is supposed to be done in regulation, carefully. It's not like intense fasting that you will die or something like that. You can take medicine. You can take milk. You can take fruits. That's allowed. It's not wrong to take fruits or milk or there's some medicine that are allowed. Okay. So we have to follow the Shastra. That's the main point, Mataji. Yeah. That's why Prabhupada, so Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We have to follow the scriptures and we have to follow the Guru also. If Guru says something, it is overriding everything. Prabhupada has made it very easy for us. You know what is austerity Prabhupada said for us for Kartik Mas? What did he say? Anybody knows?
Sing Damodarashtakam and then show ghee lamp to Lord. That's all.
Show lamps, and there's one more. One rule,
And
just one rule. Food restriction. One food restriction. Along with the general 4 regulative principles. He said don't eat urad dal on the Kartik month.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm following that.
Yeah, 4 months are there. First month, no milk. Second month, no curd. Third month, like that. I forgot what's the third month. And fourth month, no urad dal.
Green vegetables.
Yeah, green vegetables, leafy vegetables. And then he says, don't take urad dal. Such a simple austerity, right? So Krishna sees whether we are following Guru or not. If you open the textbook Hari Bhakti Vilasa, there will be some 50 rules for Kartik Mas. You'll not be able to follow all of that. You know, it'll be like, sleep on the floor, right? And so many other things will be there. We may not be able to follow all of that. Prabhupada made it simplified for us. Let's follow that. Whatever Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, whatever Guru says, if we follow, that's enough. Krishna will be pleased. Sing Damodarashtakam, show ghee lamps to Krishna, and avoid Uladana. Maybe you had so far, but if you can avoid from now on, it's good. Simple austerity for 30 days. And then we are coming, Bhishma Panchak is coming. There's so many people who are very, very interested in doing tapasya. Why don't you do tapasya on Bhishma Panchaka? 5 days tapasya is coming. Last 5 days of Kartik. Right? There's some intense fasting is there in that 5 days. Not supposed to eat rice, and for 5 days, it's going to be a little intense. Do that. All right. Very, very nice Bhishma Panchak. I'll talk about it the next class. Okay. Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one more some clarification in connection with Vidura.
Yes, please.
Vidura's father was a Kshatriya. Then how he becomes Sudra? A Kshatriya son, how he will become Sudra, Prabhuji?
Good point. I think because of his mother. Because of the mother was Shudra, then he became Shudra. Because
Inheritance is always in the paternal side.
Children of and all children follows the father race only, not mother, no, the Prabhuji.
I will. Can I find out and get back? It's a nice question. I'll find out. Okay. Technical question. I have to find this out. Yes, Prabhu. I'll find out.
Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Right, Prabhuji.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
Who was Vidura's father, Prabhuji?
Actually, Vyasdev.
Vyasadev.
Yes. But on paper, it is Vichitravirya.
No, Bhishma's father, who is Bhishma's brother, I think that is a mother, Bhishma's.
Shantanu.
Shantanu. Bhishma's father is Shantanu.
Yes. I think that lady is Dasi is, I mean, Shantanu is maybe father, perhaps.
Fisherwoman.
I'll have to find out. I know Vyasdev, but who is the father? I mean, on paper, who it is, I'll have to find out. I'm little bit not clear.
Parashar Muni.
Not Parashara Muni Mataji, Vyasdev only. Father
Correct.
of Vyasdev is, yes. Father of Vyasdev is
Sukadeva Muni is the Vyasdev.
Shukadev Muni is the son of Vyasdev. Even
Yes, that's what
if you see like that, Dhritarashtra also is son of Vyasdev. Even Pandu Maharaj also in that sense. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Let's find out.
Okay, Prabhuji.
I'll find out and come back.
Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Dandavat.
Anything that you want to share? Anything? Any realizations? What was your realization? What did you realize today? Yes. Quickly, let's go one quick round. Okay. Let's start with Komala Mataji. Hare Krishna. What did you learn today?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Yeah, it's just not enough to be self-realized. That last Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. That one, Prabhuji.
Yes.
That is.
Then it's not enough to be realized. Complete the sentence. What do we need? What is the supreme
We
perfection?
need the Krishna Prema.
Perfect. Thank you. 100 out of 100 for you. The best
Thank you,
message
Prabhuji.
out. Thank you, Mataji.
All your mercy and your blessings, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ganga Prabhu, Hare Krishna. What is
Hare
your
Krishna.
message?
Prabhuji, not completely, particularly I am not, but very, very, of course, you Varnasrama, you explained very nicely, and Trigunas and passions and all completely followed so much. So very much realization in connection with the our achievement of this Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, friends.
Yes, Renuka Mataji, what did you learn today?
Hello, Prabhuji. What I felt is a Varnashrama dharma is so important in the society. If one is not there, among four, one is not there, society, it may be create chaos in the society.
Yeah, it will be chaotic society, and it will be a society without spiritual culture. That's what is happening now to Indian society. Spirituality is coming out of the equation completely. Right? It's a society based on religion, this economic development and sense gratification, just like the West, right? Becoming more and more Western, right?
Yes.
So
And Prabhuji, Brahmana should follow his duty correctly. Shudra means if a Brahmana, he performs the duty of Shudra, then how we consider him as Brahmana? It's not possible.
it's not
So, so the performance of each one is very important also. That's what I felt, Prabhuji.
correct.
Okay.
It's a nice point. Right.
Mm.
Thank you, Mats.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Selvam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Nitya Mataji,
Eh,
could you say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So if
Yeah.
we try to be in goodness, it is easier to attain love of Godhead. So try to minimize passion and ignorance kind of gunas, and try to enrich ourselves with mode of goodness. Is what is my takeaway, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much. May I add a little bit of correction to this? Actually, by doing devotional service, we can be in mode of goodness. Okay, that is the perfect way of mode of goodness. And that's the perfect way to get perfection also. Varnashrama Dharma is supportive, but it's not a anga of bhakti. Okay. Shravanam Kirtanam, Navavidha Bhakti is the anga of bhakti. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare
So
Krishna.
that means we don't depend on, really on Varnashrama Dharma to go back to Godhead. We depend on chanting of Krishna's name to go back to God. That's what actually works. That's more important. Okay.
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure. Thank
Both should go hand in hand, of course. Yeah, we cannot reject Varnashrama and expect that something will happen. That's not also good. Yes, thank you. Yes, Naresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna. What's your takeaway?
So today's class I didn't focus because some guest came. But in last I heard that somebody asked about the Kshatriya Vikama Sutra. But isn't it everybody born Sutra? And then
Everybody
later on,
is born a Shudra. Everybody is a born Shudra.
and then later they get the chance to develop other
They start to develop their characteristics will come out slowly. See, some people we see, like they start as an employee in some company, and later they start their own business. Isn't there so many stalwart businessmen like that? Isn't it not? And somebody may be a farmer and then became a politician, a big leader. Yes or no? Because he was very inclined towards becoming a politician or a leader. We know so many examples like that, right? So these are the inner nature will come out. It's like that.
In that logic, he can be a Sutra.
Yes, anybody can be anything. I mean, based on their inclination, they can be, anybody can be anything. It's not that you don't be this or be that.
Yeah, born to the Kshatriya means you have the opportunity to become a Kshatriya.
Yeah, it's an opportunity is there, but it is
So
up to
it
them.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
you are born Kshatriya. You are always born as a Sutra. That means you are basic people in the society. Then only you develop the personality and then you become another class. Isn't it like that?
But actually, if you speak very literally out of the instructions of Varnashrama system rules, if you say rules of Varnashrama, it says that Kshatriya is generally discouraged to take up service. Okay, a Brahmana is discouraged to take up service. Even Vaishya also discouraged to take up service, because service is considered as a little lower in terms of gradation. Okay, accepting service is not recommended for a Brahmana and Kshatriya and a Vaishya. Okay, even for a Brahmana also there are some rules, like Brahmana should not, if he's generally he should stick on to his profession. If he's not able to earn money and if he's very poor, he can take up the profession of a merchant, businessman. Or if the businessman is not able to manage with that also, then he can become Kshatriya and become violent king, or like, take up violence and become a king, like that. That is the rule for Brahmanas. For Kshatriyas, it is like they can become both Vaishya and Brahmana, both. They can teach, they can become, but even Vaishyas also, but Generally, it is discouraged to do service. Okay. But, the problem is like more or less all of us are into only service profession. Okay. That's our reality. Okay. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong.
Prabhuji, I feel nowadays in this only education decides the person's
Yeah,
varna.
it's about your education. Yeah. I mean,
It's,
it's training, right?
yeah,
If you be trained as a army officer, you will be an army officer. If you join
yes,
army school, you will be army
yes,
officer only naturally, isn't
yes.
it? It's like as simple as that.
Mm.
If you go to MBA school, management school, you'll be a businessman, like
Yeah.
right.
Education decides the varnashrama nowadays. That's what is
All the
reality.
opportunities are there. We just have to follow the inclination and go ahead and do our activity. So do some activity we should do. Ultimately, we should be Krishna conscious. That is important.
Yes.
That is the
True.
most important point. Whether we pick up one of these four, that's not a. They are just vehicles, 4 vehicles. What is important is we remain Krishna conscious. That is important. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Current
Krishna.
education is mostly to make people as a sutra. It should go through like Gurukul system, then only can decide for Varnashram system.
It's a very big challenge, Prabhu. Actually, Varnashrama system is a big challenge because Prabhupada said set up Varnashrama system. Okay, that's one of the instructions he gave. And our Guru Maharaj also says one thing. I like this very much. There are some people in ISKCON who are very much behind Varnashrama system. They say Varnashrama system is everything. Without Varnashrama system, you can't become liberated. There's some people, there's some group like that. Our Guru Maharaj, Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, he says, Krishna consciousness is the emergency. It is the immediate need for the society. We want to make everybody Krishna conscious. Varnashrama system, we will deal later. How many of you agree with that? Right? Varnashrama system, we will deal it later. Right? It's not so emergency. Our emergency right now is we should all become Krishna conscious. Right now. Should think about Krishna. Always think about Krishna because our life is very short. We have to think about Krishna. We have to go back to God. We can't keep thinking about whether I should be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Let's not get into this. We'll go nowhere with that. We'll get very confused with that. It's better we just stick to our profession. Simply do our Krishna consciousness nicely. Yeah. Yes, Kalyani Mataji.
Agree, Prabhuji, fully.
Absolutely. Yes. That's what our Guru Maharaj is so very nicely understood the heart of Prabhupada, and he's so practical. Perfectly he comes to a conclusion. So amazing. Actually, I was also somewhat confused after hearing all this, that Varnashrama system, what we should do, what we should do, what we should do, what we should do. Then it's all very clear, simple thing. Our Guru Maharaj said, first you be Krishna conscious, that's enough. Okay, we will deal with the Varnashrama system later. That's not the urgency of the society right now. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes, Indira Hardas Mataji, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the very interesting class.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And whom did we miss? Kalyani Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanat Pranam.
Yes. Renuka Mataji. Yes. All right. Then let's stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyo cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha antakoti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Damodar Mas ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Komla Mataji and Gangai Prabhu, for showing the lamps. Sorry, I missed. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Fine, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,